everyone out there listening, and welcome back to yet another episode of your Slightly Mighty podcast, the local podcast dedicated to the many musicians, venue owners, and concert promoters who call Charleston, South Carolina their home. My name is Hop, your host and humble facilitator, and today will be our 14th episode. Please note that all of our previous conversations are free on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and YouTube. You can also find various short video clips on the SMP YouTube channel if you're interested in seeing what we look like and where we're taping. If you would like to help grow the show, please share the show on whatever social media platforms you inhabit. Today's guests are two of Charleston's funkiest musicians, drummer and vocalist Mr. Cameron Wescott, and drummer and also vocalist Mr. Sean Bing. Together, these gentlemen perform with the hugely talented band, the Psycodelics, as well as many other side projects that I'm sure we can get into as we go. Welcome to the show, guys, and thanks for taking some time to chat with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, man.
All right. So let's start from the beginning. I like to start with training, and I've heard that one of you guys went to the governor's school or something?
I went to the Charleston County School of the Arts.
School of the Arts.
Yeah,
okay.
Myself and our keyboardist, Noah Jones.
Okay.
We went there together. He was a senior when I was a freshman. And so that was a interesting dynamic, but it was fun. You know, it was a lot of fun. We just would get in the band room and jam during lunchtime and stuff like that, you know. And the school, you know, they were good for all of the actual technical, you know, the technical side of music.
Okay, what did the program look like, if you don't mind me asking?
So it had 9 majors, and I'm not gonna get all the majors, but sure. I can tell you the ones I remember. They had creative writing, or writing at all. Fashion was one of the majors. Band, orchestra.
Oh, so they had all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, vocals, like choir, and there's another. Theater.
Okay. And when you came in, did you have any musical education before, or do they kind of like?
Yeah, I had been into music, you know, my whole life, and once I got into middle school, I took up cello. Nice. Like 5th grade into 6th grade, and I switched over to upright bass and played that all the way through middle school. And I actually got into School of the Arts for band and orchestra. Great. But I chose band. It was like a whole thing between the directors where they were apparently beefing over me, like behind the scenes, right. You know. And the band director won, Mr.
Nice.
Kerr. Yeah, so I went over to band and then furthered my education in percussion as opposed to upright bass, but I kept the bass going, you know, to myself, just at home.
Okay.
I bought my own electric bass, and I was just getting it.
Right. What about you, man? What about Sean?
So my start was Barnwell High School. We didn't. I'm from Barnwell, yes, so we didn't have no School of the Arts per se. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't have it where I'm from either.
We just had beginner band. You had concert band. Then after that, we had a marching band, which was, let's say, about 100 people max. If that, maybe 75, somewhere between 75 and 100 people was our marching band. We were a 2A school, so not a real big school. And I did all of that coming up. And how I started on trombone. I didn't start on drums.
You still play the trombone?
I don't.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I started on trombone. And the reason I started on trombone.
You gotta get back on trombone, man.
I want to. I got the mouthpiece. I kept my mouthpiece. The reason I started on it is simply because my uncle played trombone when he was in high school. Okay. And he had it in storage. And when I wanted to join the band, you know, she looked at the price of how much the snare drum was going to cost. And she was like...
Oh, so you wanted to be a drummer.
I wanted to play drums because I was already playing drums, you know, from being in church. And I was like, that's what I wanted to do. I want to play drums, obviously. And
so you played in the church before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a church boy coming up since, 3 years old. I was always in the church playing drums. And she saw the price of how much a concert snare would cost. And she was like, yeah. We ain't getting that. She was like, but your uncle got this trombone he give you for free. So I took it because it was my way to get in the band, you know, and didn't have to buy anything. I already had my instrument. And
did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as soon as you got a chance, back to the drums.
In high school, I got my break to get on drums.
Okay.
Yeah, like marching band?
Marching band.
In high school? Okay.
How it happened was 6th grade, I was on trombone. 7th grade, which in Barnwell is considered middle school. 7th and 8th grade is middle school in Barnwell.
So you would still be in elementary school in 6th grade?
Yes.
Whoa.
You'll still be in elementary school. So primary is kindergarten through 3rd, and then 4th, 5th, and 6th is elementary. Whoa. And 7th, 8th, middle, and then 9th through 12th, high school. Yeah. That's how they ran it in Barnwell, man. It's crazy.
So how do you guys feel like that early exposure to music education like shaped what you're doing now? How do you feel about that?
It definitely helped.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
You know, especially now that I'm with guys who, like, you know, have been both in an art school getting formal training and who have gotten formal training outside of school in a scholastic setting. So it's interesting to put all of it together, you know. It's like a colliding of worlds, if you will, you know. And I'm sure Sean feels, you know, similar, you know, being from the opposite side of not being from the art school, whatever, which I don't like. It doesn't mean anything to me that I came from there, as odd as that might sound, you know, just because I feel like a lot of the stuff that I do today and that I apply to what I play today, I got from my own research and just going and hopping in the woodshed myself, you know. And so I know that that's true for Sean, you know, like he did a lot of the work on his own. I mean, he obviously had training, Clyde Frazier, right?
Yep. That's who taught me on drums, man. He groomed me into the drum line today.
Who's that? Who's this?
Clyde Frazier.
Clyde Frazier.
Okay. Yeah. Clyde Frazier the third, actually.
All right.
He's the third.
Yes, sir. Let me show you put that thing on
the
it.
Third, you know.
All right. So what's some of y'all's influences from back in those days? I mean, and even now, what do y'all? I mean, what kind of got you like into your head to kind of get where you are? Because when I listen to the Psychedelics play, I hear a lot of some of my favorite bands from when I was young too. You know
yes,
what I mean?
sir.
What? Let me see. I'm going to see if I'm hearing the right thing. What do you guys feel?
What was on your playlist, Sean?
Yeah. And I mean, from legit to where I am now, of course, you know, being in the community I am in the country town I'm from, quartet was a big thing. So Lee Williams is definitely, you know,
yes,
Lee Williams was definitely a big influence in my life coming up. And as I got older and started noticing, you know, the beats and things like that, and these musicians that was playing with him, and the other things that they were also doing on the side, aside from the quartet music. And when I met these guys, Cam and Noah and all of them, they turned me on to all these different artists, and James Brown and Prince, and all of those cool old school, and Sly and all of them guys, man.
Yeah, the Sly.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I could definitely hear the Sly too. Got the fast funk stuff.
Yes, sir.
It's very great.
Thank you.
So what else? What about you, Cam? Same thing? Or what?
Yeah, literally the same thing. I loved Lee Williams growing up, and my mom played a lot of that growing up. Lee Williams and the Spiritual QCs, the big quartet group, along with the Canton Spirituals. That was another. That was another big one. And like Doc McKenzie in the Highlights.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
To see, that's some deep quartet right there.
Right.
Yeah,
Robert Blair and the Violinaires.
Ooh, come on, bro.
Nice.
Ooh,
Yeah, you gotta check them out.
Okay.
Old school, real old school.
Southern Jubilees, and there's a lot. There's a lot of old quartet that we came up on. My mom also listened to a lot of Shirley Caesar, and so, you know, as I got older, I didn't stop listening to quartet. But like Sean says, you start paying attention to the things that those same guys that are playing the church music are playing outside of the church music. And so, you know, as well as quartet, I listened to a lot of contemporary gospel. So at the time, it would have been like your Fred Hammonds and your Marvin Sapp's. My mom absolutely loved Marvin Sapp back in the G. He had a big hit with the song Never Would Have Made It.
All right.
And then Ty Chabet, who was kind of new on the scene at the time. He was like a younger cat, and he was bringing.
You guys are blowing my mind here with some stuff. I mean, I thought I had a pretty locked understanding of some of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I do not know some of these people. I can't wait to go check it out.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be cool.
The best part is when you look them up, you're gonna see how much of a following they have for what they do.
Right.
You know, and it makes it really puts it into perspective how separate the worlds are sometimes in the music industry, you know, whether it be the gospel industry to the R&B to the pop to the funk to the jam band, you know.
Well, where I came from, when I moved down to the South, I was exposed to like how much the church influenced so many of the musicians here. But where I'm from, that's not
really
the case.
Where you from?
Charleston, West Virginia.
Ah.
Yeah. So not a lot going on there in terms of funky music,
right?
but it was also like a spice actually in a way, because you were so bored and so just there was nothing there to like really kind of inspire you, so you were constantly always trying to find things that would, you know what I mean?
What'd they play on the radio out there?
Just rock. You know what I mean? So but all my friends and I had to become like detectives. So like somebody would get a good album, you know, and everyone would have it the next day. And then we would get like, well, who influenced that person? Who influenced that person? So it was kind of like a case by case, I guess.
But that I feel like that makes finding music fun, though.
It does. Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, I kind of wonder about these days whenever I listen to Spotify now. I mean, I used to have this huge record collection. I guess I still do, but I mean, it's all right there on the internet. Yeah. And then the internet is suggesting things that for me to like, and a lot of times it's right. A lot of times it's got me nailed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do y'all feel that way?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
But do you also kind of feel like maybe you're in a circle too? You know what I mean? It's like it's hard. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find the new thing that way too.
I've been feeling that, where it's been kind of hard to get into fresh sounds, just because I mean a lot of people sound very similar to each other, you know, and so you have like your originators of whatever sound, and then you have all the people that are trying to get something similar to that sound, and it just makes for a big pool of like a kind of like an echo chamber, you know.
Yes.
You know, it gets very vast, but a lot of it is the same. And so I've been recently having a little bit of trouble finding some good music. But I have found, you know, through all the searching and stuff, you know, some very dope things, like Gareth Donkin. It's this guy from the UK. Okay. He's making a lot of music right now. It's so crazy because they're blowing up right now, but Doechii, you know, it took me forever to find Doechii, but I found her like right before she started blowing up, like over this past year or so.
So how are you finding these things? Just surfing on the net, or?
Yeah, okay. It's not even like the recommendations on Spotify. I know Sean got Apple Music, so like, what's
I'm thinking
that
about
like?
switching over. I'm thinking about switching.
Yeah, but do they give you like recommendations and stuff?
They'll if I click on, if I'm not listening to an album per se, if I'm just listening to a track, it'll just cycle another song might be in that same genre.
Kind of like Spotify.
And most of the time it's like, all right, this is cool. What is this? And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I look up the artist. So it kind of does the same thing Spotify does, just in a little different way.
Yeah. They do. I think they do have a better sound though.
Yeah,
that's what I've been told.
For
that's
sure.
what I've been told too.
Yeah, the audio is
I'm about ready to make the jump.
I think, is it a compression thing? Maybe
it is.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is with this show too. Actually, like when people send me tracks and I put them on the different servers, or the services, I guess I should say, Spotify will like crunch it all down to like less than radio quality.
Yeah. So you gotta, like, when you're making the song or whatever, you gotta put it way above.
Yeah, you do.
You're gonna need, because it's
your loves has to be like way higher than it needs to be, or it's gonna pull out all the noise. Anyway, that's for you can take that, the people listening. You can put that in your pocket there. Yeah, if you're trying to put stuff on Spotify. That's cool. So tell me about when you met Psycodelics. How did this come to be? Tell me the story. How did you get the name? Tell me a little bit about
it. It was very much so like a dream project that we just wanted to eventually do one day. Okay. You know, there was no date on it. There was no timeline. But Noah and myself in high school always talked about having a funk band, and we had a band back then. There was more jazz fusion, like Herbie Hancock vibes, you know, Chick Corea, that kind of thing. It's called Manchild. Yeah, with McCarthy Fitch on the bass. He's a local musician around here in Charleston as well. And we did that for a couple years, and me and Noah always said, like, we have to, if we don't, even if it's not Manchild, we have to have a funk band one day, or just a band, you know, that plays funk sometimes. And fast forward, you know, Noah graduated, and I went through high school as, you know, a freshman to sophomore to junior to senior, you know, I just went through the motion, but me and Noah stayed in touch, you know, played together all the time. And in 2019, he introduced me, at the very beginning of 2019, I want to say like January, he introduced me to Sean.
Oh, cool.
And we played our first gig together that same day that we met. Yeah.
Like you do.
Yeah, you know.
Nice.
And Noah was preaching Sean to me. He was like, man,
cool.
Sean Bing. And I had never heard of this dude.
Yeah.
And Sean obviously blew me away.
Right,
you know,
right.
That goes without saying. But it was.
Were you guys singing together from the beginning, or is it something you developed?
Yeah, we sang together
cool.
that first day, and we had 2 mics set up, and we just.
Was that Halls, right?
Yeah, Halls Chop
Okay.
House.
Halls Chop House.
And we called ourselves the NCS Project for Noah, Cam, Sean. You know. And,
Not even on the nose.
no, not at all. not at all. But yeah, it's it went like that. You know, we jammed that first day, and from that day, me and Noah said Sean is gonna be in the band for sure. And I had met Whit a few years earlier. We actually, myself and Noah, ran into Whitburn, and he was in Guitar Center shedding, and.
He's just sitting there playing.
Yeah,
being that guy.
And we were
Nice.
like, yo, he's the dude.
Cool,
like,
cool.
None of us wanted to go up to him because, you know, we were like high schoolers, a little timid and just like, oh yeah, he's so dope. Like, should we go up there and talk to him? And which is hilarious now, knowing Whit, because that's Whit all the way. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's funny to hear that.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, we were too scared to go talk to him. So fast forward, I got a gig from McCarthy to sit in on drums for Whit. Whit had a project at the time called Steamroller. Whitburn and Steamroller. It was a blues project he was doing. Blues, rock, funk, but mostly blues. And he asked me to come play drums. And I got double booked on the gig with another local drummer, John Picard, great drummer. And John, he was like a sweetheart. He just let me play. He was just like, yeah, I don't really care. Like, he's just like, play any song you want to. And so he did. And like, I got to jam with Whit a little bit. And then McCarthy let me play his bass. Whit got to see me on bass. And me and Whit, on our first day meeting, we both had materials that each other could have benefited from.
Sure.
To get elevated in a way.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Per se.
Yeah. Could be anything. Could be construction materials even.
Right. Hey. Any kind of material.
Got you.
You know?
That works.
Let your mind wander. You know? And
so you sealed the deal.
Yes. We joined together, put our materials and our minds together to elevate ourselves.
Sure. Now, who's in the band now? So you expanded from that original lineup to what, a 6-piece now?
Yeah.
Okay, who's in that?
Jim and Chris Barnwell.
Yep.
Jim Rubush.
Yeah, Jim Rubush.
Rubush.
Yeah, he came down from Maryland like a little over a decade ago. He's been in Charleston playing with his other band, Little Bird. Right. And they're on like a hiatus right now, you know, just putting music out and stuff kind of in the studio.
Right.
So we get to have them all to ourselves. But Chris Barnwell went to school with myself and Noah. And he was a year under me. He was an 8th grader when I was a freshman. Came up and I watched him like all through high school and just said to myself, if I ever do something, he's in the back of my mind for somebody that I want to get involved.
Yeah, he the man.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Seriously.
Chris is the man.
Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you guys trade drum duties, or how does that work?
No, well, I would say, I don't even call it percussion. I still call it 2 drummers. We just 2 drummers up there playing together. But
yeah,
it's more like
it's
just a powerhouse percussion section in general, man. Like, that man Phil is crazy, you know. He hears where he should be at when I'm playing, and he's never stepping on anybody's toes. He's always filling in the spaces that need to be filled.
You guys talk this out in advance, and you just kind of feel it out?
Oh, it's a feel.
Cool.
It's all feel.
Yeah.
You know?
You talk it out too much, then it starts to get a little messed up.
Yeah.
So. All right. What's it been like coming up here in Charleston, actually? That's a question that I wanted to, like, you guys kind of like, you seem like the new band to me, but I know you're not really. I mean, have you had any difficulties kind of breaking out here? Well, give me some.
I would say so. I mean, it's definitely the thing of bands, that feel like maybe they should be in the place that you're in, or maybe they've been doing it longer than you, and, they deserve it more than you. And we definitely dealt with that, and not only feel that, but have heard that, from people. So that's been a struggle that we talk about as a band.
How do you react to that?
I mean, we just go and kill them. It ain't nothing to really talk about.
Leave it on the stage.
Yeah.
And Parliament said it best, let's take it to the stage.
Right.
That's what we try to do every time, it's not really a conversation.
But now you don't feel that anymore, right?
Oh, I mean, this is still there a little bit, but I think because more people know us and more people are on the Delic train, now they feel like the oddballs out.
Gotcha.
Sometimes, when it's like you're the only one hating. So it's like you could just not be.
Yeah. That's a very positive way of handling it.
Yeah. And I also think it's also because of the type of people we are. Yeah. We're not buttholes.
Right.
All of us are super chill. Yeah. Everybody in the band is just like down to earth.
Yeah, it's a chemistry.
Yeah. We're not here to like be the number one. We're here to just do what we do best and give it to the people. So
what would you say your best is? What is it that you're giving to the people? What are you trying to give them?
I feel like substance.
Okay.
Is it,
who writes the majority of the music and who writes the lyrics? Is it kind of a group thing or?
It's myself and Noah Jones.
Okay.
Sean is doing a good bit of writing right now as well, and so is Whitburn. But for the first album that we're going to be putting out here in like next week.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Your whole album drops in a week?
Yeah, 4/20.
What's it called, Mike? What's it called?
Please Keep Off the Grass.
All right.
Yeah. It comes out on Easter Sunday.
Nice. That's my anniversary, 4/20.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
25 years.
Oh, man, congratulations.
Yes, wonder why I picked that date.
I don't know. 4/20 is the reason you can't remember.
That's the reason why I can't remember. All right. So what was Jam Cruise like? I saw that you guys were on that.
Man.
Tell me a little bit about that.
A dream.
Okay.
A dream. It was everything and more, You think about it, if you've never been on it before, it's just like, I'm going to be on a boat for a week. You don't know what to think,
Mm-hmm.
But then you get on there and you see all these cool musicians and all these cool people, and you just meet so many people and get to jam with so many people that you never thought you'd be able to jam with.
Right.
It's just really cool, man. It was a great experience, a learning experience. I took it as a learning. I learned so much on that boat.
Give me some advice. What did you learn? What's something that you walked away from, either one of you?
Well, all of it for me, it was just musical, choices and listening to a lot of the other drummers, and just how they approach music. Nikki per se, Nikki just her feel is just amazing. And I took in what she was doing and trying to apply it to my playing a little bit. Not per se change what I do, but just add it to what I do.
Yeah.
And how she plays her pocket, it's just so clean and tight.
What was your best experience there? What was something that just blew your mind straight open?
Oh man,
for me, it was being on stage.
Being on stage, right?
With Snarky Puppy.
Oh yeah, dude. Like,
yeah, some of the members from Snarky sat in with us.
What was that like?
Last set, it was amazing.
It was fire. It was fire. Yeah, like Mark Lydier was just up there, just cutting.
Bobby.
Yeah, he's insane.
Yeah, Bobby Sparks on the
You got
keys.
Bobby and Noah Jones.
Yeah,
it's like, what?
Yeah, it was getting nutty. I
should have went on this trip.
Ivan
never. Yeah, it was.
Oh wow, legendary there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he was jamming. They was jamming. TK from Southern Avenue.
Yeah.
Just an amazing. I don't know. I feel like if I say female musician, then I'm gonna get, canceled. So I'll say like a woman musician.
You can say whatever the fuck you want on this show, man.
Hell yeah. Well, it's for the girlies. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Not for me. you know. But she's like just you could scrap the woman actually, because she's just a great drummer.
Oh yeah,
and a great singer.
Killer.
You know, and
Killer.
I mean, it was amazing to see a band like that who like they're kind of like us in a way where they're still coming up. You know, they do big shows and stuff, but they're still growing and still getting on the scene. But they've been on the scene longer than us, so it was dope to see her kind of really get involved into what she's already put forth into the music, and like have people singing along to some of the songs that she's done, but she's not like, some headlining artist, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was dope to see like that it can still be done.
Yeah.
You
can still get on the bill.
Exactly. And not just get on the bill, but like really put something forward that people are digging, which like I digged on what she was doing. So it was that was inspiring,
So when you're on some of these big stages, that's not the only big stage you guys have been on, how do you deal with the stress?
How do you deal with it, Chef?
What are some productive ways we deal with stress? How are y'all dealing with this?
I don't think you can put it on here.
How else? Anything else?
Well, I mean, we sing before and we pray.
Yeah.
We pray before every show.
We always be praying before every show. That's true. That's 100%. It helps a lot. Yeah. And it's just the fact that, it's like, I don't think I per se I don't think I get nervous. I don't really get nervous like that, even if it's like 10,000 people. Because it's like, I'm up here with my boys. Right. This is family. Yeah. Let's go up here and do this thing, There's a little piece of me that's just like, whoo, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But after that first song,
you're focusing on the band.
You hear that? It's all right, we good.
Yeah, we
you warm, now you ready to go.
It's great.
Yeah, and from me, if I do feel any stress, normally it's coming not from the band or like a feeling of like, oh, are we gonna mess up? But more so like the actual technical side of things. Is the sound gonna work for us? Are the lights gonna, go the way that we want them to go?
The technical side of it's out of your control, really.
Yeah, exactly. And
Makes
so
sense.
that's where any of the stress, if at all, that's where it comes from.
That's great.
But yeah, like I'm kind of with Sean on that. Like I'm pretty stress free when we get up there. It's like
It's just about having fun.
Yeah.
Just get up there. That's the one thing you got to remember. Have fun.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's already a job to do everything outside of the music, So it's like you want to try to not make the music a job.
Okay. What are some of the job parts that you're talking about?
I handle most of the booking and like hotels and lodging and stuff like that for the band.
It's a whole other thing for you.
Yeah.
That's work.
Yeah. The guys like they help me out by showing up. When it's time, when we got a show or when we got rehearsal or whatever, they show up and they give me 100%. That's all I ask, and in return, I'll do all of the, the tedious work, sending the emails and stuff like that.
That's great.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great.
Well, let's check out a song. Let's hear Fallen. Super funky.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I really like the fade out at the beginning and the end. That's old school.
Thank you.
I heard that. I was like, that sounds like some old school stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, like recordings always had those little things like that were kind of fun, man.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be so damn serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's check it out. The song's called Fallen.
1, 2. That's all right.
And we're back. We're going to talk a little bit about some professionalism. What do you guys like to see on the road show? What makes you feel confident about your performances on bigger stages? Like when you show up at these big stages, like what is it? You're like, oh, okay, I've got this.
I'm big on rehearsal.
Rehearsals.
I'm real big on rehearsal, and like the guys know that, and they respond really well to it. You know, like when we in rehearsal, it's go mode, and you have to have more than one. You know, so we try to get after it and schedule normally 2 at a time. You know, back to back. And we just get in there and we shed, man. That's all you can do is be as prepared as you can be, you know. And then
do you guys prepare the whole show, or just kind of song by song, or?
It's song by song. We have transitions, okay. And we have different transitions too, like for certain songs. Okay. So like, and we have different transitions for the same songs. So we'll, you know, mix and match and add the transitions together for whatever works.
Like tonally. A playlist or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
All right. What are some rules you guys live by as musicians? You got any? I got one. I try to get to a gig an hour early. Maybe it's too early for some people, which it can be.
Sound like Sean.
That's how I like to do it.
Man, I mean,
what are some rules?
Definitely, that's a good one. I wouldn't say an hour early. That's a lot. That's a lot. You know, that's a lot. I ain't gonna lie, that's a lot. But you know, just be on time. That's it. That's a big one. Yeah. Another rule, you know, just be professional in general. Okay. And over it, just everything you do. You know, the way you talk, the way you're showing up. Make sure you dress properly. If it's a venue like that where you have to dress a certain way, wear the right attire.
Part of the gig.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate that, man.
No, we like dressing up.
Yeah. we come correct every time. Everybody's come dressed to impress.
Yeah. That's cool.
And one thing for me is just, you know, treating every sound man or engineer or production crew member exactly the same, with the exact same amount of high respect, because you never know where they could go, you know, how high up in the chain they could end up. And whatever they're doing, you know. Yeah. And not that matters. It doesn't matter. You should treat them with respect anyways.
Right.
You know, but it definitely plays a big part.
It's good business sense.
Yeah. You know, it's like, it's very easy. You just treat them like you would anybody else. You know, like they're not your scrub, you know, or your ward, you know, that's around to just, you know, do all your dirty work. You know, they're here to help you. Right. You know, and so treat them like that, like they're here to help you. You know, so that's one big thing that I try to do, because I've seen a lot of people treat, you know, the crew
like they're workers.
Yeah,
or something,
you know what I'm saying? You know, it ain't cool. So
anything else?
Yeah. Hygiene.
Oh yeah, we stay showered.
You know what I'm saying? Make sure everybody in this band, we clean.
Oh, that's good.
We like to smell good and look good.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Make sure you smell good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I understand there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in that, all those products with all that stuff in it. But they have natural stuff that work too. Use it.
Yeah, right.
You gotta use it. That must stuff has gotta go.
Yeah, don't be offensive. By yourself, just being there.
No, we love the funk.
It's one thing to play in a band, and it's another thing to play in the band, and you just keep smelling that one person that's standing beside you. You're just like, man, it's rough.
That's a good rule. Man. That's a good rule. That should be a sticker.
Hygiene. I'm sure that's a big one around the world.
Yeah.
All right. So another question I got for you. Who are some artists that kind of interest you around town? I mean, who in this town in Charleston kind of like is just blowing your mind or keeping you on your toes or really source of inspiration
a big
for
one
you?
for me is CL.
CL Baxter, man.
Yeah,
man. That
he's the man. Yeah. And he's got a new project,
Gullah Collective.
That's right.
Yeah, man, it's great. It's great.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The little clips and stuff they've been putting out just sounds so good.
All right.
Yeah.
And they just got world, you know, famous musicians with them,
of course,
that live here in town. They're all good. Really good.
It's amazing.
Anybody else?
I would say, and it's funny because Sean is actually in this project, but Wolf Mask.
Yeah, it's a good band.
Yeah.
I checked them out.
Oh, yeah.
Fun group.
Yeah, I like you guys,
I
man.
love
That's
playing
good stuff.
with those guys.
Yeah.
That's in my wheelhouse, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It's good stuff, man.
It's cool, yeah.
Ross Bogan, it's cool to see him venture off and do some of the things that he wants to do outside of Doom Flamingo, which is ironic because Sean and Ross are both in that. Yeah. You know, so it's cool to see the different avenue that they're taking. And then TK, of course, that's like my dude. Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah, I absolutely love TK on anything he plays ever. Yeah.
Another one for me would be Jonathan Lovett.
Oh yeah,
man. Anytime I play with him, I'm mind blown. Yeah. Like, how do you just crush a whole gig and nothing sound the same and none of your solos? Every last
he's
one of them was
talented
different.
For sure.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's on another
That's
level.
one guy I could just sit in the pocket for an hour on the same groove and just listen to him just do his thing. Yeah, organ or piano, it don't matter.
So let's talk about the pocket before we move into this next song.
That's easy.
So you guys have it made in a way. You both sing together. You sing harmony together. You're playing bass. You're playing drums together. You're locked in. I can't think of a better pocket in town, probably. Tell me about it. How do you know you're in the pocket? How do you know when you're not in the pocket?
You can definitely feel it when you're not there.
Oh yeah, it's a feel and it's a look on people's faces. It's like, this ain't locked right now.
Well, how do you get there?
You gotta listen.
Gotta listen. You gotta know. You gotta get in where you fit in. You know, either you stepping on somebody's toes or you just playing something that's just not blending with everybody else. So you either stop and figure out, all right, what's gonna work and play it in your head while everybody's playing. I remember Cam always said, there's something you said one time that I always take with me, don't try nothing. If you don't think you can do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Like, something he always tell us.
Yeah, sometimes you want to take that big leap on stage.
That's a very disciplined point of view.
Yeah,
that's great.
You gotta tell people that.
Yeah, sometimes you want to take that leap of just like, I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna go for this right now. And like, it's
been there.
Yeah,
I've been there. But then you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah, the restraint.
It just didn't come out the way you thought it would.
Yep. But that restraint, is what keeps us so locked.
Right.
Anytime you get that inkling to go to another level when it's not the time, just hold it. And it just builds naturally, that tension, until you release. It's like a long fish jam. You know what I'm saying? It's like they might be jamming for 13 minutes before they hit the peak.
Yeah.
And then there's another peak 7 minutes down the timeline, so.
Patience.
Exactly,
Okay. Well, let's listen to another song. This one's called Won't Chew. What can you guys tell me about how you recorded it? Where did you record it at? What's going on with this song? This is the one with the big vocal part too, right?
Yeah.
This is a good one.
We recorded that at the Space.
Yeah. I was just fitting to say it was the Space, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Wolfie.
Yeah. Wolfgang Zimmerman, and he has a studio in Charleston called the Space. He recorded Band of Horses, a Grammy-winning album there. I don't know if it was winning or nominated, but Grammy-mentioned album, And we went there in 2021 to record, actually. So we recorded that back then. So the song has been sitting for 4 years, and we took it from the Space and we went and mixed it at Coast Records with Matt Zutel, who helped me with the entire album. We just sat and mixed the entire thing together. Okay. But yeah, it has Harlem Farr, who's a former member of the Delics and like still a standing member if she ever comes back down to Charleston,
Oh, she doesn't live here anymore?
No, she lives in New York. She's pursuing music out there. She's killing it. So
I just got back from New York last weekend. It was what a town, man.
Yeah,
I could live there. I could stay there forever.
Really?
Yeah.
There's so much to do.
I know,
there's so much to do, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't just look out the window and be like, I'd rather do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. You can spend the rest of your life doing that.
I feel that. I'm too country for that.
Yeah,
I'm too country too. But you know what? I'm on the other side of the mountain than maybe you two guys.
Yeah, that's the thing.
New.
Exactly.
I feel that.
Yeah, I mean, when we on the road, sometimes the city can get a little busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's dope nonetheless. And then DeMario is on the vocals. The whole band is on the vocals. And then
do you guys have like vocal practices, or you just kind of do it all as you're doing it together and running the songs?
I kind of like arrange the vocals.
Okay, I was going to ask that next.
Yeah. I just like everybody can sing in the band, so they're really good at taking direction and hearing whatever note or harmony they need to do, or if it's in unison, singing in damn near perfect unison, they're all on it. So for that song, I just got up in the studio and I just told everybody to sing it in unison, and we just sang the chorus. We did 3 people at a time. So it was myself, Wit, and Sean at one point, and then actually it was 4 at one point. We did myself, Noah, Demario, and Wit. And then we did a full band take with everybody. It was like 6 or 7, and we stood way off the mic.
All right, great. It sounds like such a big. Yeah, it's great.
And then we mixed all that down and shaved it down. So it's maybe like 10 to 15 voices on that chorus. And then and then I do all the background harmony stuff, and me and Sean sing together and do a lot of the main vocal harmonies. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's a harmony over the lead vocal, we sing everything together. So if you're listening to like a Fallen, we sang that together in the studio, just looking at each other, just like how me and you are right now. Yeah. So
well, let's hear it.
Yeah.
Won't you?
Was blooming mayhem.
we're back. This is the part of the show where we like to talk about. We like to play some questions from the last guest we've got. We had Elise Testone submit a couple, and let's hear them.
Hello. This question is for Cam. First of all, I love you and hi. The question is, how do you feel that going to the School of the Arts and being put in an environment where you can really hone in on your talent and your skills at a young age has affected you as a person and your artistry and musicianship?
That's a great question. It definitely made me a bit of a rebel, more so than I already was, in the sense that I was allowed to play and hone in on my skills, but it wasn't necessarily encouraged for what I was doing. Right now, if I was in there working on, my etudes and my rudiments.
I see what you're saying. They're classically training you.
Yes.
You knew there was a life past that.
There's another
for you.
side, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so the kind of things that me and Noah were doing in the band room during lunch, we were jamming on Jay Dilla, and
nice.
You know what I'm saying, and Herbie Hancock, nice. And stuff like that. Tears for Fears, we used to love to play Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Good song. Got a good beat to it.
Yeah. And we used to crank it out, man. And so it definitely helped me hone it in the sense that it made me want to go and do it outside of the school, because I wasn't really able to do it all the time at the school, So, yeah.
So you kind of started feeling pressured by the end.
Yeah. I mean,
time to go.
I mean, by the time I wasn't planning on going to college, and
right.
I did it for a half a year. I did one semester, and I left after my first semester, and it was a learning experience. I did great in college when I went for like 6 months, or however long it was, like 3.5 months or whatever. I did great. I had A's and B's, but I just wasn't trying to do that. It was all academic classes. I had to get that out of the way before I could do any music. And I was already gigging around town, doing 2, 3.
And you're in Charleston.
Yeah, I was playing with Sean.
Good gigs.
I had met Sean, and I wanted to go and play halls and not study. Right. Or do, the exam or the essay that I had to write, and like I could make money too, like real money.
Let me ask you this. Do you guys feel like you kind of like came into your own at a good time here in Charleston? I remember when I first moved here, you really, there was gigs, but like, 18 years ago, it wasn't like it is now. I would imagine that you were like going to school and being like, why am I in school when I could just go do the thing I'm in school to do today?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Definitely.
How was it for you, Sean?
Well, moving here from Barnwell, first, I was already playing on the Columbia scene a little bit, and they had a pretty good scene going down there, as they still do. But I was playing with a rock band, Villanova, way back in the day, and I was doing a lot of hits around town there in Columbia, playing all in 5 Points, all the college parties. I was in a college band at USC with my homeboy Jake Lo Piccolo. And I was doing all, playing at the Senate and doing all the cool stuff in town. And then I met Paul Quaterbaum.
Cool.
Playing weddings.
I'm trying to get Paul on the show, actually.
Oh, I hope you can. I hope you can. I met him, and that's how I came on to Charleston. He brought me down here to play at the Commodore.
Oh, sweet.
And I was doing the Commodore Wednesday and Thursday. Sorry. Wednesday was with Kanika, and Thursday was with Aisha. And we was doing it every week for I would say a solid year.
Wow.
Before everybody started doing their own kind of thing and breaking off from that. And once I started playing a little bit of gigs down here, and Paul just kept throwing me different stuff, Hotel Bennett, and playing. And I met Noah, and then I met Cam and everybody else doing the halls thing, and Tobin's Market when we got the band going.
Right.
And just
Yeah, you
all
guys
these
were.
gigs just
I think I
started
seen
opening
y'all
up
there
left
once.
and left and
I definitely
right,
saw
man.
y'all there.
Yeah,
we used to sell
Tobin's was
Tobin's
cool
out.
for a minute.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that jank
Yeah.
jumping,
Well,
jumping.
sell
up
it
there
out on a Monday night?
Come
Yeah.
on, Monday.
I'm telling you.
It was jumping.
Yeah.
They don't do that there anymore, do they?
No.
No, not
can't
at
do
least
live.
not to that level. They don't anymore. They still do live music there.
Acoustic
I've
stuff.
done a
now.
few events there.
We've been thinking about doing a show there, just
Yeah.
you know, just to have a show there, you know, maybe on a weekend or something. It won't be a Monday night, but
Right.
you know, Friday night, you know,
Yep.
a little happy.
Yeah, I would shut the place down for sure.
It'd be a fun time.
Let me know. I'll come.
Hell yeah, we love to party.
You ready for a question?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Hi. This question is for Sean. Hi, Sean. I love you. My question is, well, maybe I have two questions. One of them is, how long did it take you to be able to deliver your harmonies accurately and in time while playing drums? How long did it take you to hone in on that skill and perfect it? Was it hard at first? Or was it always a natural ability that you have? And my other question is, how do you feel that being able to play multiple brass instruments has affected your artistry and contributed to your artistry? And do you still find some useful skills learned from that being used today?
So the first question,
She snuck in two questions.
yeah. The first one was, I'm sorry, what was the first
How was
question?
it? Was it hard to hone it in, singing and drumming?
Singing and drumming. Honestly, I feel like it came natural to me. Cause coming up in church, my granddad, in my granddad's church, I was like one of the main singers.
Okay.
And on the praise team. So a lot of the singing was on me to sing.
While
with
you
my
played
aunties.
drums for
While
the
I
church?
played
Okay.
drums, yeah. And of course, being young and just winging it, you know, you mess up a little bit, but you're in church, you know.
Yeah. They're
Your
supporting you.
grandmas and everybody happy that you're doing
They're
it.
not
so-
firing you for the first.
Exactly, exactly. And then, but just over time, I just kept doing it in literally every band that I've ever played in. I was always singing at least something, you know.
That's great.
And it just got better and better. Then when I met these guys, that's when it like really took off. It just took a whole different direction.
Okay. What about the trombone stuff? I think that's what she's referring to, right? She's referring. Do you play more than trombone? Do you play
I
other-
play tuba.
Okay.
I play sousaphone.
Oh, okay. Do you read?
Yeah.
Do you read music?
I do.
Excellent.
Bass clef.
Nice. Good
Yeah.
for you, man. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Trombone, baritone, and tuba was the three brass instruments I played. They say that trombone and baritone are the same instrument, just one is, has the buttons and then the other is a slide.
So how has that changed? How has that affected? I was kind of curious about that. I knew that she was going to ask that question, which is
Yeah.
why I didn't kind of hit it earlier. How has that kind of like affected you over the years? Like having that in your back pocket? Harmony, yeah.
Learning harmony. I think that's honestly what helped me with my singing too, as a drummer, and learning harmonies and stuff was from playing the instruments. Because everybody got their parts, everybody got their note. When you blend it, it's like this beautiful note when everybody on it. And that's what it is with vocals. When you got your note, this person got their note, this person got their note, and everybody sing it, and it's beautiful. It's just one of those beautiful orchestrated things. So I think that definitely helped me listen for harmonies in every aspect of music, no matter what I'm playing.
Do either of you guys practice singing, like on your own? What do you practice? What do you do?
I watch a lot of Seth Riggs, who is he's a vocal coach for a lot of big name artists, but
On YouTube?
Yeah,
Okay.
his most notable is probably Michael Jackson.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but he also did Adele.
Okay.
So I mean,
He's got a resume.
yeah, and Beyonce. So you know what I'm saying? It's like it's everybody. But Michael Jackson, he and Stevie Wonder actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was working with Stevie Wonder right before Songs in the
Wow.
Key of Life, and
That's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, because it was a lot of music to be recorded, and Stevie was already starting to like want to preserve his voice. In 75 actually is when they started working together. Songs in the Key of Life comes out in 76. That's not a hit no there. He was with Mike Jack, and they have a lot of sessions recorded. And so I go through and watch those and listen to what he's telling Mike to do. And he has different approaches to everybody, but I sing kind of similarly to Michael in a way where it's abrasive, but it's like a full chest voice. And so there's a lot that goes into preserving your voice there. And so I'll watch that, and it's a lot of warm-ups, like buzzing your lips and trying to get a clean slurred chromatic scale up and down. So the second one was cleaner, but stuff like that, you know. And that what that does is it just opens up your vocal cords because they're just muscles, you know.
That's what Elise was talking about last week. She was talking about the muscle and the taking care of it. It's cool. I mean, I've never been a singer, so it's interesting.
And me and Sean sing together a lot too. Yep. You know, we run vocals a good.
It's repetition. Yeah, it's a big one, man. You know,
how many years have you guys been playing together now? 5, 6 sounds like.
Maybe 6. 6 yeah, 5 or 6. Yeah,
like 2019.
Any signs of stopping?
Never. No, I actually.
So let me ask you this then: where do you see yourselves in 10 years, 15 years? What are y'all trying to get to?
We've been talking, man. You know, MSG is a big goal for us.
Oh,
you know, and, you know, that's one of the few things where we do care about the prestige, and we do care about what it means to play that venue, and you know, to even come close to selling it out. You know. Which I believe that within the next 5 to 10 years we can definitely do.
100%. I believe the same thing.
Yeah,
that's great.
10%.
Yeah.
See, this whole band's on board for Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
it's great,
man.
Man.
That's like, I mean, maybe we can stop once we get there, but I mean, why would you?
Yeah, right.
That?
Not at that point, man. You're good.
Right. That's
great.
Yeah.
Well, you guys want to hear one more song? Let's hear Ladybug.
Oh, yeah.
What a tune. Learned this on bass this morning, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
How did you get that bass tone, if you don't mind me asking real quick?
Man, so I'm using a Spectre. It's a modded bass that I got from this guy, Big Daddy Cade, who was B.B. King's guitarist. He was his rhythm guitarist, and he was the only guy that B.B. King would let impersonate him while he was still living.
Oh, wow.
And he, you know, gave him the rights to do it once he passed too. But this guy and his wife, they were selling music equipment, and I went and bought 2 bass cabs and a speaker head and that Spectre bass for like $400.
Wow.
Whoa, you got all 400?
Yeah.
Nice.
So the Spectre bass is worth a couple grand.
Yeah.
Nice, good deal, dude.
Yeah. He really believed in what I was doing. I was maybe like 13 at the time, 12 or 13, and he really believed in what I was trying to do with music, and so he gave us a deal because, you know, we couldn't afford how much it actually cost.
Right.
You know, the bass alone is like $1,800, and then the cabs are. I won't even get into the math, but you know.
So it's just the Spectre, it's just the sound of the bass, then.
Yeah, it really is. I didn't like that bass for the longest, and it was the strings. I had flat wounds on there, and I just switched over to round wounds, and I broke them in. I didn't like it. Switched to coated rounds, broke them in, didn't like them. Switched back to these rounds. They were like some of the cheapest rounds I could find, and that's what's on the record.
So you're getting that grit.
Yeah, man. Because the bass is already nice, so you don't need super high end strings because the frequency gets too like slappy,
barky.
Like, tick.
Yeah.
I don't like the tick.
Yeah, I don't either.
You know?
I try to mute everything as much as possible.
Right, you know, but you need a little bit of the high end for the slapping, you know? Yeah. So I was able to find the right balance, and that's what's on that record.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Ladybug. right, and we're back for some final thoughts. Anything you guys would like the listeners of the Psychedelics to know going forward that maybe they don't get from just going to the show? Like if you could just talk to them while they're sitting here, what would you say?
If you're coming to see us, get ready to get down. That's all I can tell you.
That's a fact.
You're gonna feel the beat. You're gonna feel the rhythm.
Yes.
All through your body, and you're gonna want to dance.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not a band. This ain't no jazz hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
We getting funky.
Time to dance.
We about to get down.
Okay.
Seriously.
We trying to make you sweat.
I would say the one thing is we have so much stuff in the catalog and in the vault that we're working on. And like I'm very particular. I don't ever want to let anything go if I don't think it's perfect or close to perfection, because it's cool to have imperfection sometimes. It makes it real, right? So I don't believe in like auto-tune or Melodyne. So like anytime we put out a song, it's because we got the take, and it doesn't take us long to record. Normally we do the vocal in like 1 to 3 takes. And that goes for background too, So it's about us shedding it till we get it to the point where it's so right that we could do it all the way through, and so that's why we've just been holding out on a lot of stuff. That's why it's been taking so long for music to come out. But we have so much stuff. I can't stress that enough.
So you got more than one album you're sitting on? Right?
I can't get too deep. But we have multiple live albums. We have,
nice.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We have.
I like y'all's live stuff a lot, man.
Thank you.
I mean, I like the recordings too, but I've always been a guy who goes to the live.
Yeah.
If I can. Y'all have the energy for sure, man.
Thank you. And we try to do things just a little differently, while staying true to the song, live. So it makes it fun because it's never going to be exactly the same.
Right. So when you guys are in the studio, is the sky's the limit on the production?
No.
You try to keep it within the bounds of like, could I do this live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Always thinking, especially with this band. I mean, not so much with my personal project, just because it's like, if it ever gets played live, then cool, but it's like just made to be for fun. But for this, it's like, we gotta be able to like do what we did on the record even better than what we did on the record, So it's not like underselling, but you want to make sure that you don't put yourself under an unnecessary pressure or stress, And so it makes it really fun to write for this band, because now I'm thinking about what would I want to hear Sean do live. Like that's like maybe a crucial part to the song, but it's like I'm gonna get to hear that every night. Like what won't I get tired of, And so it makes it fun. But again, we have so many things that we're sitting on. So I would just say stay tuned, stay tapped into what we're doing. You can follow us on everything, every social media platform. We have music out now, so you can follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or any of that stuff, and like get into this album that we got coming out next week.
Wish I could have got this interview scheduled earlier in the year so we,
It's all right.
Yes, you guys have to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about the album. Stuff.
Exactly.
Actually, I definitely want you to come back, because you guys are going to probably go out and rule the world soon. I think that's what everybody's hoping.
Hey, man. So
it's going to happen.
Yeah,
That's what I think. Anyway.
It's going to happen.
Yeah,
100%.
So, what is something that you like to see happen? What's something that we could do to make it even better? It could be like structurally, or within musical community ourselves, or
I think people should give more new artists a chance, to perform in bigger venues. It don't gotta be, a 500 cap venue, but even your 150 to 200 cap venues, so that people can get out of, there's a lot of kids out here that are in the house show world, and they love that world, but if they could get into a venue, or do a poorhouse show or a music farm show or something like that, they would absolutely take that opportunity. But they don't get those opportunities because they're newer. They're fresh on the scene, and they don't have the streaming, and they don't have all the followers on Instagram.
Right.
But they'll never get that if people don't give them the opportunity to play those shows, you know, and see what they're made of. And this is the thing, is like, it's really a response thing. I feel like Charleston, you know, some of the promoters and the booking managers at some of the venues aren't privy to responding back to when they're, you know, somebody's reaching out to them, you know, trying to get a gig at, you know, whatever bar it may be or whatever venue. And nothing hurts more than not hearing back at all. You know, it's cool if you tell them no. Yeah. You know, but when you
or why you told them no,
right? You know, but when you disregard them, but then they see other artists and people playing those shows and those venues, then it's clear that you're ignoring them. You know, and I think there should be a decrease in that. You know,
I mean, if you're getting an opening act, give it to them.
Yeah,
let them have a shot.
And I mean, we were the opening act, and you know, we still are. We still open for bands. You know, we have a big announcement coming up soon here. That I can't really talk about, but we're going to be opening for a really dope artist, you know, and that only happened because he gave us a shot, and people have given us a shot with no music out. You know, we didn't have music out. We've been a band now for about 5 years. Yeah. We're just putting our first album out next week. It's still not out, you know. So, you know, I always tell the kids coming up that are like on my age or like younger than me, you know, that same thing. You know, don't be afraid to like reach out to the sound guy at the venue as opposed to the email that you saw on the website. You know what I'm saying? Like go up in there and talk to somebody and, you know, ask them, hey, are y'all doing live music? Do y'all have live music here? I'm an artist. I could send you my EPK, electronic press kit, and that'll have all your links to anything that you ever done, your videos, your music, you know, your website if you have one, ticket links, anything like that. And then two, you as an artist are gonna have to go and set that up, you know, and do some stuff on your own, go and get some work done, you know. So
what about you, Sean? What do you got?
For the scene. I don't really have much to say, but I think overall the scene here is it's a big scene. There's a lot of venues that offer musicians a place to play and to get paid. Rather it's good pay or okay pay or whatever it is, you get paid because there's places around the world where, you know, people are paying to play.
Nashville.
Right. You know, Nashville is one of those places. Some of the artists there, they have to pay to play. Yeah. And they might make it back in tips. They might make double that or triple that, whatever it is, if it's a good night. But it's not guaranteed. And here you have a guarantee.
Right.
So, you know, we're blessed enough to have that, thankfully. Yeah. You know, I would say I would like to see in the future some of these venues, well, not venues, I would say establishments, because, you know, some of them are restaurants and then some of them are actual venues. But some of these places, like whenever you go to New York, you'll see like a lot of the house clubs, they have like the basic house setup. You got your drum kit, you got an amp, and you got a bass cab. Boom.
Yeah, some backline.
Enough for a trio.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes it's a hassle to find parking.
Yeah, especially in Charleston.
Meter maids messing with you while you're loading your gear in the loading zone. And sometimes it just becomes a pain in the butt sometimes.
It doesn't have to be much either.
And it doesn't have to be much.
Completely.
You can find a cocktail kit for $200, $100.
Yeah.
You can find all of this stuff.
Just a bass cab.
It
Guy
doesn't
brings
have
his
to
own
be
bass amp.
state-of-the-art equipment.
Yeah.
It's just something decent that we can play this gig with, and it makes it easy on us. You know, if you're not going to provide parking for us, we got to go pay $20 to park in a lot somewhere so we don't get towed. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least you can do is have us ready to go. So we can come in and just do the show, and boom, we can go.
Yeah. Yeah, and be able to just walk away without having to tear down a PA and
or I mean a whole drum set, you know.
We're not asking, like I said, we're not asking for a state of the art stuff.
Right.
We don't need a full 6-piece DW kit. Just give me a little bebop, you know. Give me the Questlove kit.
Yeah, the break
I can groove on.
Yeah. Seriously.
Questlove kit. Those are kind of cool.
Yeah, they are.
I like those little kits.
Oh yeah, he got it. You know,
that's
he
like
got it right with
one
that.
selling bebop kit to this day.
He got it right with that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good little kit.
That thing's still selling big.
Well, guys, I think we're going to have to leave it at that. Thank you for donating some of your time and energy to talk with us here today.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Come back and
Come
back and let us know how you're doing. Once again, special thanks to Maybank Public House for allowing us to record here. Stop by sometimes and reserve the big room for yourself. That's it for us today. We'll be back in another Slightly Mighty episode in 2 weeks, and we'll talk more then.
Hell yeah.